close my phone down so no one is bothering you during the class. And this week we are in a Parsha called Parsha's Vayishlach. Vayishlach, it's on page 170. This is the Parsha that we all do, right? A very special Parsha, a very beautiful Parsha, and we are hopefully going to be able to discuss some stuff in this Parsha. And this is obviously starting this week's Parsha after many years that Jacob, our forefather, spent in the house of his uncle. What was the uncle's name? Laban. And now he's making his way back. Last week it was a very dramatic discussion about the stay in Laban's house. He escaped originally from his brother Esau. That was the reason that he made his way to Haran. Little did he know that he's going to end up building a whole family there. Planning for one wife, and he ended up having 4 wives. 2 wives, and each wife brought a maid, which they became the mothers of his children. Altogether 12 boys, plus 1 daughter that the Torah mentions specifically, and according to the Medrash, might have been even more daughters. And these 12 boys are the boys who are becoming the leaders of the tribes of Israel. Leaders of the tribes of Israel. That's who they become, which means that every Jew, wherever he is and whatever he is a descendant of one of those 12 kids who were born to Yaakov in Haran. Yaakov spent in Haran how many years? 22 years at least.
22.
And now he's making his way back. But we cannot forget what led him to Haran. What led him originally to Haran was a very bitter argument with his brother Esau. Apparently, Esau is blaming him for taking away the birthright, which, as we know from 2 weeks ago in the Parsha, he sold it to him, it wasn't taken. But he's also upset that he took away the blessings. You remember the story? Mm-hmm. So he's upset in a way that he actually expresses his frustration with Yaakov, threatening to kill him. That's what he said. Since he was respectful to his father, so he said, I'm going to wait for my father to die, and then is when I'm going to do the job. But he was ready to do it. And Yaakov is in Haran, is in a different country, trying to protect himself and trying to make yourself at home, any place, protecting himself and trying to be available for building a family. And in this week's Parsha, Yaakov is finally making his way back. His way back from where? From Haran. Is now going back to... Where did Yaakov come to Haran from?
From Beersheba.
From Beersheba. So now he's making his way back from Haran to Beersheba. But he has a concern. What is concern? That brother Esau, 10 years passed, 20 years passed, many years passed, but there is still an issue on the table. It was never resolved. They never took care of the problem. And he's really sincerely concerned that when Esau is going to see him, and not only see him, he's going to see him in his new look. What is his new look? Not just a boy chick escaping from the parents' house. He is now a grown man, big family, surrounded with beautiful women, very wealthy, very successful. You can imagine that will further enhance the jealousy and the hatred behind the jealousy which Esau has against him, and God forbid, who knows what it's going to lead to. So, the Torah in this week's Parsha says that Yaakov is getting prepared for that dramatic meeting. And he prepares himself in 3 ways. He prepares himself, what's the first preparation? Is prayer. And we have, those who have a Chumash, if you want to follow the Chumash, there's right here a Chumash for you. The prayer that he offers is on page 172, from verse 10 till verse 13. A very short prayer. Maybe if that would have been the length of our prayer still at the East Side Torah Center, it would have attracted a bigger crowd. Vayomer Yaakov on verse 10, and Yaakov said, this is his prayer. First, how does prayer start? Remember, you want to go through, you want to have a successful, meaningful prayer, who do you start?
Your ancestors.
Your ancestors. Always bring them into the discussion. Make them a part of it. Don't detach yourself from them, and don't isolate your needs as an individual, personal, needy person. Make sure that you approach God with some yichus. What does yichus mean? Come like a mensch. You're not a schlepper.
With recommendations.
With recommendations, exactly.
Credentials,
very good. Hello. Look who is talking. Don't come like a beggar. Like a schlepper. Nebuch, I have nothing. Maybe look at me, talk to me. I'm not a Nebuch. I'm not a Nebuch at all. You're the God of my father Yitzchak. And what do we say now that we are the sons of Jacob? How does our prayer start? First prayer of Amida, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokei Avotenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Then Akel Agadol, Agibor. Then we praise him, how great and awesome and wonderful he is. But the first thing is, this is who we are. We want to bring them in to the discussion. They become a part of our needs.
Our references.
More than that. It says in the temple, in the Bet HaMikdash, the Talmud says that before they offered the morning daily offering, they made an announcement. The sun rised in Hebron. They are in Jerusalem. But the reference is about the sunrise of Hebron, which is close, but not that close. And why were they announcing that the sun rised in Hebron? What did the Talmud tell us? To bring about the merit of and the credit of those who are buried in Hebron, which is our ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the patriarchs and the matriarchs. So the point that the Kabbalah teaches us, and the Mittel Rebbe, the second Rebbe, brings it in a letter. When he started, the second Chabad Rebbe sent his daughter to live and settle in Hebron. And they established a Hasidic Chabad community in Hebron that till today, they have the home, the buildings which belong to the Chabad. Recently, a few weeks ago, we had a visitor from Hebron for Shabbos. He was here for 2 weeks for treatment, and he goes in there, he davens there. We actually spoke about it. So the Mittel Rebbe writes in a letter, he brings from some early Kabbalistic sources that till today, anytime a Jew prays, a person prays, the prayer travels. Where does it travel? Almighty God. But it makes a detour on the way. It first travels to Hebron, makes a short stop in Hebron. From Hebron it goes to Yerushalayim, and there with the temple studies, rocket up straight to heaven. But it goes through Hebron, right? If you come from Jerusalem, if you come from Ben Gurion Airport to Jerusalem, you don't have to go to Hebron. It's a whole different direction, right? This is really using a detour, going around Hebron before you're coming to Yerushalayim. You're coming from a whole different direction. Our prayers, that's how they travel. They travel first to Hebron, and from Hebron to Yerushalayim. Why Hebron? Again, to bring in Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. So this is what Yaakov actually does. He mentions Avraham, Yitzchak, Hashem Omer Elai, You told me return to your land and to your relatives, and I will do good with you. Remember, God promised them, I'm going to be okay, it's all going to be all right. And he mentions here that really you were very kind to me. You were so kind, and it says on verse 11, that I am becoming so small. I have been diminished by all your kindness. Usually, in the non-Jacob world, when somebody is bestowed with, and showered with blessings and success, what does it make you feel? Accomplished, great, maybe even arrogant. What is Yaakov's attitude? Oh God, you gave me so much. God, as more you come closer to me, what is my reaction to your closeness? What is my response to your closeness? I'm becoming smaller. I keep on shrinking. And that's what he says on verse 11. Katonti mikol hachasadim umikol haemet asher asita et avdecha. I have been diminished by all the kindness and by all the truth that you have done with your servant. For with my staff I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become two camps. He mentions that when he crossed the Jordan, meaning from Beersheba to Haran, I only had my staff with me. No silver, no gold, no cattle, garnished. I had nothing with me. The famous Medrash. The Medrash tells us that he actually did have some. His mother did prepare him a nice little suitcase, to go and look presentable when he arrives in Haran. But there was Esau's son, Eliphaz, who chased after him. And when he came to him, Eliphaz finally got a hold of him and he says, listen, Uncle Jack, I gotta kill you. Dad says I should kill you. I gotta listen to my father. And what did Jacob tell him? You know what? Kill me. But what if you kill me physically? We can make a trade for it. You can present me as dead without killing me. And this is how it works. Take everything away from me. And I'm going to become so poor and so impoverished that I'm going to be considered dead. And Eliphaz actually listened, he bought it. And he took everything away from him. Just in a parenthesis, I want to tell you a story I once heard. There was a Yid, a Jew in the old time Jerusalem, came to a rabbi and he said, listen, Rabbi, my son is in America. He sends me a little money to support me, but I don't think that he makes his money in very kosher ways. Meaning, I don't think that his store is closed on Shabbat. I don't think that he is keeping himself from eating non-kosher food. He said, okay, for me to take that money, maybe I should send it back to him. Sincere Jew, had a serious question. So the rabbi of Jerusalem, I believe it was Rabbi Salant, Shmuel Salant was his name, told him as follows. Listen, you know this story with Eliphaz chasing after Yaakov, telling him, Dad said I gotta kill you. And what did Jacob tell him? Come on, take everything away from me. So he asked, I don't understand. If Jacob sees that his nephew is somebody that you can talk to, right? They are negotiating. Perhaps he's even respectful to that uncle. He doesn't want to kill him. He lets him know, I'm going to have to kill you. But he's ready to hear. So he asks, why don't you tell him, Dad said you should kill me? You crazy? You're going to kill me? You're not allowed to kill. Tell him you're not allowed to kill. What are you negotiating with them? You're offering them a deal, a trade. Don't kill me. Take my stuff. Take my belongings. Take my credit card. Tell him. Tell him the way it is. What's the answer, he said? Yaakov did not want to confuse his nephew with the mitzvah of respecting his parents. Mm-hmm. Esau, one thing, that this Eliphaz is following his father's instruction, even for the bad. But he honors his father to the point that he's ready to take the life of his uncle because his father said, Yaakov, I'm not going to take away that wonderful trade that Eliphaz says. Instead, Let me work with them. Let me give him a trade-off. Let me have him take my clothes. Let me take my belongings. But never will I remove or take from a child this opportunity, this great value of honoring parents. I'm not taking it away from him. Close the parentheses. Let's go back to our discussion. So Yaakov says, listen, I was nothing. I had nothing. And now I became two camps. And he says a very short request. Hatzileini na. He turns to God and he says, rescue me, please. Miyad achi, miyad Esau. From the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. Why does he mention two hands? Why doesn't he just say, from the hand of my brother Esau? Why does he have to say, from the hand of the brother, from the hand of Esau? Know what I'll say? Just tell us. This Esau, this historical Esau, this anti-Semite, doesn't always come like an Esau. Sometimes it comes like a brother. Comes, gives you a nice hug, nash brat, let's be together, let's party, and then sticks the knife. So be careful. There is one end like a brother, and the one end like a Esau. You can't, throughout history, we still didn't figure out who is that evil Esau, that anti-Semite in Jersey City who comes into a kosher market and takes lives of innocents because he hates them, or God forbid, there is the anti-Semite who comes and he says, I'm going to rob your soul by coming and dancing with you and sticking with you. This is a brother and there's Esau. And Yaakov says, save me from both. Ki yore onoichi oisoi. I am afraid. Pen yovei veikani eim al bonim. I'm scared. Why was he scared? That's another discussion. We've discussed one of the previous years. What does it mean Yaakov is scared? But this is again a statement of him being so humble. He didn't feel that he deserved anything else. He wasn't, even though he knows what he did for the sake of God and how much he was devoted and faithful, but he still doesn't feel worth it enough. This was always the challenge of our great leaders, dealing with fear. Moses, God sends them on a mission, tries to escape. No, not me, I don't know. Jonah, God sends him on a mission. Again, not me, I'm not going to do it, who am I? Leadership with the natural rejection of not accepting the mission actually does come together. You know, when the Rebbe, our Rebbe, the Lubavitch Rebbe, after his father-in-law passed away, his father-in-law passed away on the 10th of Shvat, 1950. For the entire year, the Rebbe refused to even consider him to become the successor of his father-in-law. And he was very strict about it. And people tried to, refer to him as a Rebbe. He even threatened, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get away somewhere in South America. You're never gonna find me. That's the natural response. King David, he's afraid. Fine. This is preparation number 1, tefillah. What is preparation number 2? When you're going to meet the anti-Semite, the enemy, the Esau, let's get ready with, bribery. Let's give him a nice peckle. Let's prepare a nice package, a gift, and a lavish gift, a very lavish gift. And the Torah goes on and lists about 550 animals. If you count them all up, from verse 15 till verse 16, 200 he-goats, 20 she-goats. Go over the list, you're going to find about 550 animals. With the guys, right? And he prepares us and he says, you know what? I know my brother, this is the way always this Reshaim, this is how those wicked people work. Let's blind their eyes. Let him lose focus for a second.
Yeah, that's what you're saying is the reason Yaakov did that?
Sure, 100%. 100%. There was number two, a lavish gift, bribery, clearly. Let's bribe them and bind them so they shouldn't attack us. This was the Jewish way throughout history when we dealt with our enemies. You think we always fought? No. We smeared our hair and smeared our hin. We did whatever possible to get them off our case. We gave them gifts, Rahmanas boxes, and all kinds of things just to get them off our case, because they are the stronger ones and we are naturally the weaker ones. So whatever works. It's kosher bribery, 100%.
Not out of humbleness.
No, but he should be humble to Esau. Who the hell is Esau?
Because he felt bad, because he felt bad.
No, nothing to feel bad for him. He deserved it. He sold them the birthright. What am I feeling bad for?
I'm talking about for Yitzchak, that he didn't feel bad about that, and that's why he
Between
wanted
him and Yitzchak, they figured it out. This was a Shalom Bayis case. And Rivka, who sent him to take the blessing? His mother. So his mother knew exactly what the father needs. That's a whole separate story. But he doesn't feel bad for himself. He's just trying to watch himself. The third thing he does, he arranges his camp in such a way that if there is going to be an attack, this is actually the arrangement number 1, sorry, we missed it, on verse 8 and 9. He's getting ready for attack, and he divides his camp into 2 groups. Beautiful explanation. He took the group who were promised to be protected by God, which is his wife and his children. He puts them behind, and then, because they don't need to worry about, they're going to be protected, he puts the other group in front and is ready to fight. And by the way, our sages tell us that this was when our rabbis, community leaders, representatives of the communities would go throughout the history to go deal and make presentations before foreign governments and dealing with oppression and with decrees. They used to actually open the Chumash Bereshis, this book, and read from verse 4 all the way till the first part of the Parsha, just to get inspiration and encouragement how to deal with an Esau. That was the Parsha that they gave them the strength how to deal with it. Now, what happens along the way, on his way meeting to Esau, is a very, I don't want to use the word strange, but a very esoterical story. An esoterical story means a story which is a secret story, a story which doesn't have any so-called simple explanations. What happens is that Yaakov, as he turns to page 174, verse 23, what does it say? Vayokom balaylahu, on verse 23, he got up that night, Vayikach eshtei noshav, ve'eshtei shivchaisav, he took his 2 wives and his 2 maidservants, which are the mothers of his kids, like we learned last week, Bila and Zilpa. Ve'esachadaso yeloda, and his 11 sons, because the 12th son is only going to be born later in today's Parsha. If you come over back on Shabbos, you're going to read about the 12th son being born, Benjamin. He bakes them up in the middle of the night, and vayavor et ma'avar yabok, and they cross over the stream. Ma'avar Yabok. Okay? The stream of Yabok. So far, so good. The name of the river is called Yabok. Says verse 24. Vayikochem, vayavirem es hanochal, vayaver es asher loi. He went, he took them, and let them cross over the river, over the stream. He sent over his possessions. So first there was the wife, the children, and everything which was his. What does it mean? He became like a real transporter. right? It picked up sheep, camels, bags of gold. Everything is going over the river. There's a stream, right? And they need help. I don't know, maybe he became the bridge. Maybe there was no bridge. Because it says that he went, all night is never working, getting everybody across the river. But then what happens, somehow, verse 25 starts, Vayivasa Yaakov levadoi. Yaakov was left alone. Why was he left alone? What happened? What happened? He left alone. So here we have to come, like many times when you study our Pasuk in Chumash, you have to go into the Torah Shebal Peh, into the oral tradition, and to see what is the meaning of it. He was left alone. Everything is passing. Follow it. So there's a famous Talmudic discussion in Tractate Chulin, that the Gemara says that what happened was, after he crossed with everybody, with everything, he realized that he left a few empty cans. Or small cans. It doesn't say empty. A few small cans. Cans of what? Cans of tuna, cans of ketchup, I don't know. There were some cans that he left over, and now he's going back to pick up those cans. Now, you think about it. The Talmud says, Yaakov, what are you doing? It's night. You are all nervous about meeting Esau. You cross the river with everybody. Stay with everybody. Stay with the camp. Stay a few empty camps. The next traveler will pick it up. What are you worried about? You don't go back. Huh?
Didn't want a litter. He didn't want a litter.
He didn't want?
To litter.
Like
Don't litter and you'll be punished, yes.
Oh.
Don't litter and
I
you'll be
see.
punished.
Okay.
But I thought the reason that he put half of the camp over on the other side of the river.
No. Over that side of the river, there were two camps. But both over the river.
Oh.
Yeah, both over the river.
Oh, okay.
Now he has small thing. You know what the Talmud tells us? There's actually 2-3 explanations on the subject. Let me share it with you. The Talmud says that a tzaddik, a righteous person, every little thing that belongs to him, because he didn't steal it, and he didn't get it, and he didn't get a hold of it by some type of shmei drei, like a little type of what do you say? How do you say a shmei drei in English? Like he didn't get it. I guess it only works in Yiddish. He didn't get it by some. He didn't finagle it in some type of way, but he really earned it and worked on it. So that's why by a tzaddik, everything that he owns is very precious, because this is his effort. He knows that he put in a lot of effort in order to own it. This is not it came to him by somehow, he tricked someone and he ended up with a beautiful car and a beautiful house. Everything that he owns, every little thing, every item, every spoon, every plate, if he worked and he earned and he went to the market and he bargained and he finally got a hold, one more spoon, one more cup, one more, You remember you Bobby's and Zadie's, the way they used to treat every item in the house with such respect. Why? Are we less respectful than them? Not we are less respectful.
Yes,
We
are.
no. The reason we are less respectful is because we own it less. God forbid, no one stole anything that you own in your house. But it's like a part of the bigger picture, as they say. But there's no bigger picture. They worked and earned. Everything was like earned. My mother till today can walk the extra 5 blocks because the cucumbers are a few cheaper. And she's not a cheap woman. She's a very giving person. So maybe sometimes someone is cheap and with sugar. She's like the saying Yiddish, a breiter man. She's a very large type of personality. Those of you met my mother for years ago. But there is earning and there is earning. Everything is being earned. There's no paycheck which comes from Uncle Sam. This is work hard and you want to make sure that you spend it right. The Kabbalah says more than that. The Kabbalah says that it wasn't just that they are worried about it or they are concerned about their leftover items. is because they worked and they didn't steal it, as the Talmud says. But rather, every person has a mission in life, which the Kabbalah calls it dealing with your share of sparks which belongs to you. You have your share in the world. God gave you a certain prescribed mission that you have to elevate, release godly sparks which are contained in the various physical items in this world. And by divine providence, you end up with certain belongings in your possession, which is for you and only you to work with in order to elevate them to the world of spirituality, the world where they belong to. So for a tzaddik, for a righteous person who understands and is sensitive to that share in the world which was distant for him, is obviously going to stay overnight on the other side of the river in order to make sure that no extra can is going to be left behind. Because there is some spark and some kedusha, some holiness, which is my mission to release and to elevate and to purify and to rectify. This is my job. This is not, it doesn't belong to anybody else. This is not for another traveler to come behind me and pick it up. This is not trash. This is real stuff. And that's why he went back. There's a famous insight, by the way, which relates to Hanukkah. Sure you know it, but it's okay, good to share it. We are holding less than 2 weeks to Hanukkah. Some commentators tell us, from the early commentators, that in that can that he left, the little thing that he left, was actually a can of oil. What was that oil? You remember last week when he left Be'er Sheva to make his way to Haran, he made a promise that I'm going to make an altar for you, and this is the oil that I'm going to pour on the stone of the monument which is going to become the home for you. So he has that oil. That oil is in a can. That was the can of oil which was left on the other side of the river. But there's a Medrash which tells us that God tells Yaakov, you were so devoted and committed to preserve that can of oil that you sanctified for my behalf. In the future, I'm going to perform a miracle to your children in a can of oil, which will become for them a festival to other generations. And this is the story of Hanukkah. So Hanukkah is actually directly related to that can, to the little cruise that Yaakov Avinu left on the other side of the Jordan River. So he is there. Oh, now what happens when one is there? It becomes very dramatic. Let's go back to the same verse. Vayivasa Yaakov levadoi, and suddenly he stays there and he's struggling. Vayeovek ish imoi, and he's wrestling with somebody, with a man, ad alois ashachar, until the break of dawn. Many hours they are struggling. Vayeovek. Vayeovek. What's the word vayeovek? Rashi brings us vayeovek can also mean avak, dust. The struggle was so that they raised dust from the earth, which they were, wrestling one with the other. Or vayeovek comes from the word vayechabek. They were wrestling in a way of hugging, each other, each one trying to overcome the other. Who was this man who he's fighting with? So obviously he was not just a gangster. It was a man, as we're going to see later, he's helping Yaakov's name to be changed. And this man, we find out from our sages, from our tradition, was a minister in charge and responsible for Esau. Which means is that every leader in the world, every nationality, has a so-called representative up in the highly heavens. there is the Russians, and then there's the Americans, and then there's the English. Not sure which English, find out tomorrow which one, but you know, every every different nationality, every different nation in the world has what we call a sar. Sar means that it's in a way it serves like a conduit to which God even presents himself to that nation, provides for them, to that spiritual representative in the higher worlds. That's how it works. In other words, when there is nations of the world who are disputing or discussing or trying to work or fight with each other, it's not only happening in one reality is where it happens in our world, but we see it. The second reality is in the United Nations, and the third reality is where it happens up in the real world. There is a struggle. The representative of Esau, the representative of Ishmael, Christianity, Muslims, this is all a part of this big picture. This is not simple stuff. This is not simple stuff at all. This is not just politics. This is serious, real, issues and ideas which exist in the so-called, in the higher worlds. There's a famous saying, the saying about the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, that on Rosh Hashanah night, all the Rebbes, Rosh Hashanah night used to be very busy davening. They davened for many hours and very serious. And there's an expression that about the Tzemach Tzedek that he's sitting in Lubavitch. Lubavitch was a small little tiny town in White Russia, but he's organizing Petersburg. He's making orders in St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg was the reason it's called St. Petersburg because this is where the Peters were, right? That was the city of the Tsar. This was like the so-called the capital, and all the arrangements for the big Mama Russia all took place in St. Petersburg. So they say on Rosh Hashanah night that Tzemach Tzedek sits in Lubavitch and he's maneuvering what to take place in St. Petersburg. What do you maneuver in St. Petersburg? St. Petersburg is St. Petersburg, and they have their representation and they have their leadership. The answer is obviously not with Peter, but with the Tsar, or with Nikolai, or Alexander, whoever their name were. But he's dealing with the Tsar, with the angel, which represents them, and he's trying to put them in some type of perspective, how to be and what to be. The angel is fighting. He injures Yaakov in a certain part of the body, which becomes a famous known to be injury, which for all generations we're not going to eat from that. What is it called? Psychotic nerve. And then the guy who fought with them, turned just 2 more verses, says to Yaakov, "Let me go. Shalcheni. Ki ola shachar." Because dawn is broken. Dawn is broken. What's going to happen? The police is coming. Now there's light outside, so you're going to be caught. Ola shachar. Why should I let you go? But obviously, again, the angels at breakdown, they have their mission. They have the shira that they are singing, the presentations before God, and he has to go back to his mission.
So he was struggling with the angel.
Yes. What does he tell them? No. Yaakov says, "I'm sorry, I'm not sending you." Ki'im berachtoni. First, I want to have a blessing. What does it mean, a blessing? So again, Rashi tells us in the Medrash the famous statement that it's not just a blessing. It wasn't that he needed the angel's blessings. He wanted a confirmation of the blessings that Yitzchak gave him. He says, till now, yes, the blessing of my father, but there is still Esau was trying to challenge it. He's trying to appeal my right over those blessings. So now he's turning, I have the angel with me, you want me to let you go? You saw that I'm stronger. Okay, I can keep you here. You really want to go? This is the deal. you're going to give me a blessing. What is give me a blessing? Not that I need your blessing. I need your confirmation. You take whatever, you do whatever it takes to confirm that the blessings of Yitzchak stays with me. No more appealing it. At that point, suddenly they get personal. What is your name? Fighting all night, no name. Now he wants to know his name. I guess when it comes to give a blessing, you gotta know who you're blessing. Vayomer Yaakov. My name is Yaakov. Vayomer. He tells them, Lo Yaakov Yomer Ekimcha. No longer will it be said that your name is Jacob. Ki im Israel. What's your name going to be? Israel. Everything that we hear, the Torah of Israel, the land of Israel, the people of Israel, where did it all start? Right here. Your name is going to be Israel. Why Israel? So he tells them on the same verse, Lo yomer Yaakov ki Israel. Why? Ki sorisa im Elokim ve'im anashim vatuchal. For you have striven with the divine and with man and have overcome.
What is Sarita again?
Sar El. Sar means a ruler. Sar ve'moshel. Right? You're controlling it. You're dominating. So he tells them, Sar El. I'm El. I'm representing God, the angel. And you became a Sar, a dominating force over me by overcoming me. So then your name is what? Sar El Israel. That's where the name Israel comes from. Where's the blessing? Where's the blessing? Is there a blessing? He just changed his name. I guess
But isn't,
the change of name becomes the blessing.
doesn't that Israel, doesn't that mean that it comes up, that it goes up? And if you directly translate it, isn't Israel, Yisrael, doesn't that mean like elevated or
Now,
it doesn't?
Yashar. Oh, Yashar means straight.
Yeah.
What
up,
is elevating?
to go up.
Oh, Yashar El. You go straight up to God.
Right.
Okay. Good?
למדתי היום, נכון?
לא, זה בסדר, כן. בסדר.
Rabbi, what time is Shachrit tomorrow?
Huh? Shachit tomorrow is 7:15. Are you visiting here?
Yeah.
You gotta go now?
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. Are you gonna be here for the weekend?
No, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Have a good, safe stay. You ate something tonight?
I'm going now.
Where you going? There's a place right here called the Teapot.
Teapot.
Put it in your machine. It's a kosher place. Teapot.
Okay, thank you.
It's 2 blocks from here.
Northeast 24.
Enjoy it. Yom
Thank
Tov.
you so much. Bye. See you tomorrow.
All the best. Anyway, now just to share with you a few little things. The name Israel, it's a beautiful name. Going back to what we started our class, this is something which is brought on in some Kabbalistic sources. That the name Israel is again, what are we called till today? Israel. Why are we called Israel? Because that's the name which is the code name of our patriarchs and matriarchs. The acronyms. Because what do we have? We have Yud. Who is called by Yud? Yitzchak. That's the Yud. Who else is called by Yud? Yaakov. So you have Yaakov and Yitzchak. Then you have the letter Sin. Who is called by Sin? Sarah. So you have Sarah. We have 4 matriarchs and 3 matriarchs. Who we took care on what? We took care on Yaakov and Yitzchak, and we took care on Sarah. Now you have Reish. Not only Rachel, who else? Rivka. Then we have Aleph. Who is Aleph? Very good. So we took it to the paycheck taken care of. Then we have Lamed. Who is Lamed? Leah. So by in the name Yisrael, he's really alluding to the fact that you are a representative and your strength and energies comes from where?
Your matriarchs and your
Elokei Abraham, Elokeinu, Elokei Avotenu. It goes back to what we started. It all goes back to our forefathers, which I saw something interesting. Does the Ramban say it? No. Who says that? I saw something interesting. That how comes that we are after all called in davening we say Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yaakov. Why don't we say Elokei Israel? Why don't we substitute Yaakov's name, the God of Israel? Why do we say Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov? So one of the Yehuda commentators says that has to do with equal rights with the man and woman. How does it work? How many letters does Avram have? How many letters does Avram have in his name? 5. Avraham. Right? And Yitzchak, how many letters does he have in his name? 4. And how many names does Yaakov have? 4. So what does it equal? 13. Now, how many letters does Sarah have?
3.
And Rivka?
4.
Resh Bet Kufa is 4. So how much is it?
7.
And Rachel?
3.
And Leah?
4.
So what is that?
14.
13.
13.
7 and 7.
So if you keep the name Yaakov, then it's equal. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov is 13. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah is 13. If you would change Yaakov to Yisrael, then men would have more letters than women. So we didn't want to bother the ladies. Women's rights, equality, right? And therefore we kept in davening Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yaakov. They have 13 and 13. But it's not just it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Why is it important to have 13 and 13?
26.
Because if you have 13 and 13, you have 26, which is what? Yud Kei Vav Kei. You end up having Hashem's name. So you want to keep the 13 and 13. This is not just a game. You want to end up with the 26, which is the infinite name of God, the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, so where are we holding? We're holding here between the struggle of Yaakov and Esau, which is actually the struggle, as the Medrash say, which continues all the way till today, right? It never stopped. That struggle never ended. Never ended. Now, who is the blessed, we ask? So the truth is, we have to get in a little bit to understand what is the difference between Yaakov and Israel. We have 2 names. We have 2 names. Till today we have 2 names. We have the Yaakovites and we have the Israelites. And both names are important names, but each name represents a different aspect of neshama, a different aspect of soul, and a different level in the relationship that we have with God. Let's start with Yaakov. If you go back last week, 2 weeks ago, why was Yaakov named Yaakov?
He followed his brother.
Akev.
The heel.
He was grabbing the heel of his brother Esau. So what is Yaakov? The Kabbalah says Yaakov is Yud Akev. Yud is the godly divine spark, which is always represented by the Yud. That's why a Jew in Yiddish is called what? A Yud, right? Because this is the neshama. And there is the way the neshama, the Yud, is associated with what? With the heel. And then we call him what? Yaakov, Yud Akev. And then there is the other Yud, which is Yisrael. The Yud, which is Sarel. Obviously the letters Israel, Sin, Reish, Aleph, makes up which word? If you rearrange those letters, what do you have? Rosh. Israel is LeRosh. What do we say when we eat on Rosh Hashanah, when we eat the head of the fish? What do we say? Sheniyeh? LeRosh. LeRosh. The Yud Lerosh is Israel, right? So here you have the two opposite directions. You have Yud, which is associated with a hill, Yaakov, and then you have the Yud, which is associated with what? With the Rosh, with the head, La Rosh, Yisrael, or Sar El, dominating over angels, which is obviously not by heel. This represents the strength and the stature of Yaakov. What does that mean? You have to translate it into simple words, something that you can relate to. There's two aspects of neshama. There is two types of services that one is servicing God with. One is like the heel and one is like the head. What's the difference between the heel and the head? Try to put in your head in hot water and try to put in your heel in hot water. What's easier?
Big difference.
A big difference. Why? Because the heel is lifeless. You know the expression in the Talmud, everything that is in the heavenly angels is also incorporated in the person himself. So the Talmud says, who is the angel of death in one's personality? Who represents him in the body of the person? There's the angel of death. Who do we find him in our body? Because everything is being found in your body, right? Your body reflects everything Hashem created. Who is the angel of death? The Talmud says, you heal. You heal is the angel of death. Why? Because it's lifeless. Right? You ever had to peel up some hard skin from your heel? It's not painful. Try to peel up some skin from here. Oh, right. The heel is lifeless. Lifeless in seems like a negative connotation, right? Lifeless. But the truth is, there's a very strong attribute represented by the heel, and this is that the Kabbalah calls it Kabbalat Ol. Kabbalat Ol means you are ready to service God, not because you understand or because you feel, just because this is the way it is. This is what I need to do. And when you ask, what does it mean? So you say, listen, he's my king, so I'm following instructions. Does it really make sense to you? Not yet. Do you really feel like doing it? Not either. So what are you doing? I'm doing the will of my Creator. This is called what? Servicing God with your heels. Or like a heel. A heel type of personality. Then there is, obviously, the way the neshama, just like there is the yud, the neshama shining in the heel, and working by being a heel type of person, then there is the Yisrael. There is the neshama, the way the neshama shines in a way of involving itself in the knowledge of Torah and Judaism and the wisdom of God, learning about it, trying to understand it, to a point that you can even dominate it. You're becoming in control, so to speak, over spiritual powers. As the Talmud says, Tzaddik gozer v'akadosh baruch hu mekayem. The tzaddik, the righteous person, makes a decree, and God follows. Akadosh baruch hu gozer betzaddik mevater. God makes a decree, and the tzaddik comes and does what? Cancels it. That's called Sarel. This is dominating. This is taking control, taking charge. Taking charge even above the spirit. Yisrael. This comes in a way of utilizing your roish, your head. So the angel is giving Yaakov a blessing. Not only is your name going to be Yaakov, no. You're not only going to be fear in the spiritual worlds, you can dominate the comes to what? When it comes to spiritual arrangements. Famous story in the Talmud. There's many stories. One story since me about Hanukkah. During the Hanukkah's miracle. The famous, one of the Talmudic sages, his name was Rab Hanina ben Dosa. That was his name. He was like they call him the miracle man. He was like a Baal Shem Tov kind of Rebbe, you know. He didn't deal with nature. He had no patience for nature. When nature interfered, he made sure that nature takes his lesson. So one of the major stories is that what? There's a lot of stories in the Talmud about him. One of the stories is that he was on his way to shul Friday afternoon, that you have your wife light candles, or you light candles at home, if your wife is not home, and you then go to shul to welcome Shabbos, and then you come back to have a meal. And he sees his daughter who lit candles, he's upset. Be your wife or your daughter being upset on your way to shul Friday, you don't go to shul. Stop a second, find out what's wrong. Don't leave it for later. Anyway, he asked you, what's going on, what's wrong? You just welcome Shabbos. Says, Hanina, I made a big mistake. What was the mistake? You forgot to make chicken. The chicken was mixed with milk, and the cholent is going to burn by tomorrow. What's the big mistake? You forgot to order herring. There's no vodka in the freezer. What's the mistake you made? Why are you upset? Says, no, I lit the candles, and I now realize after lighting them that instead of putting in oil in the bowl, I put in vinegar. And what is his response? Vinegar, it's not going to last for another couple minutes, it's over. What does Rab Hanina say? He doesn't tell her it's going to be fine. No. He doesn't tell her, don't worry about it. Next week will be better. No. What does he tell her?
God made the oil burn, God will make the vinegar burn.
Whoever told the oil to burn should tell the vinegar to burn. What does that mean? That's not a wish.
If something happens.
That's not a wish. That's not a wish. What he basically said is, what makes oil burn? There is a divine order which is made out by letters, right? That shemen, oil, should burn when it comes in contact with fire. So now let's take control over those letters. And let's not try to interfere and rearrange that the letters which makes up the word vinegar should carry the same energy which is invested in the letters of oil, and when they're going to come in contact with fire, they will last and burn just like oil. He's basically transferring, he's interfering in God's creation. What is it called? What is it called? Interfering. Dominating spirituality. That's called what? Yisrael. Sa'el. He becomes the dominator of an angel. Hello, let me maneuver it. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. My name is Hanina ben Dosa, and I have the ability to reconfigure and to change the letters and empower them in such a way that they're going to carry the same natural ability which oil has. So the miracle was not in a way that somehow fire was lighting with no energy. You understand the point here? Sometimes you can make a new miracle. There's a different type of miracle. Let there be fire. Can you make a fire now? You ever heard such a miracle, making a fire now in the middle of the room? You ever heard about a story that a fire suddenly was created? No. Even take the miracle of Hanukkah. How did the miracle of Hanukkah happen? Was there no oil and the menorah was shining, hocus pocus? Or there was a little of oil and it was re-energized in a way that it was lasting instead of 1 night, 8 nights. How did the miracle happen? Tell me. How did the miracle of Hanukkah happen?
It had something to start with.
Oh, what would be wrong to find no oil at all? There would have been a nicer miracle. Let's assume no oil. And the priests are coming to the menorah. No oil, everything is contaminated. And lo and behold, akus pakus, the flame comes shining up. What would be wrong? That would be a great miracle. But that's not a miracle's work. The Zohar actually says it. That in order to apply a miracle, the Zohar Kadosh writes, you need to have something tangible, a minimal. And on that, the bracha will occur. The blessing attaches itself to something physical, and then you can re-energize that little physical thing and make it grow better and nicer. Look, even Jacob, for the blessings, Isaac was offered a meal. And the Ramban says that in that meal, in that physical presentation of the what's it called, of the chicken and the goats, whatever he was offered, that's how he was able to channel the blessing. And that's exactly how it happened here by the Hanukkah story. And that's exactly how it happened to Chanila ben Dosa. He didn't make the candles burning without oil. No. He made that vinegar should be empowered with the same energy as oil. That's what he made. That was the novelty of Chanila ben Dosa. He was able to direct the energy which sustains oil into vinegar. That's why he said the word. What did he say? Whoever told Misha Amar Lashemen Veyadlik, Yomar Lachometz Veyadlik. Whoever told the oil to burn, he's going to tell now the vinegar to burn. This is Israel. This is Israel. You are dominating even that which is in the world of spirituality, because we are not just Yaakovites. We are not only godliness brought into our bodies and therefore we carry a neshama with us. We carry the neshama with us in a way that we can have the neshama overcoming the limitations of our body and to break out of those limitations and to charge and to infuse ourselves with greater energy and godliness and light in a way like Yaakov did here. And obviously I'll be getting ready for Hanukkah and the 19th of Kislev next week and all the good Hasidic holidays, and when it comes, it's a time to further commit ourselves to study and to learn Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism and Hasidism in order to realize more the energy and the light which we all have. To the point, what was the name of the founder of the Hasidic movement? What was his name? Israel. This is not by coincidence. Why his name was Israel? It could have been Mordechai, God forbid. I'm saying God forbid because it's my name, but there's nothing personal. It could have been who knows what. His name was what? Israel. Why is Israel? Because this was the novelty, this was the nuance of the Baal Shem Tov. That's what the Baal Shem Tov was all about. To do what? To energize and to re-energize the faith and the belief and the emunah and the inner faculties and powers which does exist in each and every one of them, of us. To let every person know that you have it within you. You can dominate and you shouldn't be afraid, not only from your physical Esau's. Then for sure you should not be afraid of. But you shouldn't even be afraid of Esau's malachim, of Esau's ministers. They come to you like angels. Hello, you're an angel, I'm a soul. A soul is stronger than an angel. You know that? A soul and the neshama is stronger than an angel. I can overcome you if I need. You want to start? Let's go over the night. Let's see what happens in the end. And this is what the Kabbalah said. What's the night? They were fighting till when? Till the break of dawn. That fight's still going on. People think it was over. The break of dawn is the dawn of Mashiach. That's when the sun is shining. Until that point, what are we involved with? Right? We are working. We're still working in eliminating this Esau. But we learn the story and we know what happens in the end. Eventually, the sun is going to shine. Look, I get up in the morning, we come to shul these days. somebody before he asked what time is Shacharit, 7:15. You drive up 7 o'clock from my house. Like I said, it's even darker than when I went to sleep. Like, what's going on? It's like pitch dark, 7 o'clock, right? And what happens suddenly? We sit here, we put on tefillin, talit, we start davening. You look through the window, 20 minutes later, oops. You see cars, you see people, the light, the sun is shining. That's exactly how it's going to look. Dark, it's dark, it's dark. We are fighting, there's an Esau. All kinds of Esau coming in all kinds of shapes and forms. There's going to be the crack of dawn. It's happening. If you look on Zmanim.com, it's supposed to happen soon. The Rebbe said Mashiach is coming. It's going to happen. We're not going to be stuck in this darkness forever. But if we realize that, it's going to give us the koach to overcome Esau even now, in the time of Golus, and hasten the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Laila Tov.